exactly 6:05, we start the program. So for this month, we've been discussing customer experience. Mostly we talk about customer service, but there's a new evolution. Now what we have is customer experience and its importance in business growth. And for today, we will go through the program lineup for today. As usual, we start with the usual logins. We allow 5 minutes for people to log in. At exactly 6:05 to 6:10, we do the introduction of good. So at exactly 6:05, we'll do the introduction of our speaker for today. Then 6:10, the discussion starts for 30 minutes, after which we allow Q&A 5 minutes. Then at exactly 6:45 to 6:50, we close for the day. So we'll kickstart. I will introduce our speaker for today. Amanda Akushi is a professional customer experience and digital marketing expert with more than 10 years of experience in key account management, business development, sales and marketing, customer experience, and product management for clients across a wide range of organizations. She's the lead consultant and founder of Nearly Consult, a firm focused on digital marketing and customer experience. She's a certified customer service expert with International Association for People and Performance Development, IAPPD, an international awarding body in the UK. She's also a certified professional trainer under IAPPD, certified digital marketer. When we come to her academic background, aside holding an MBA in marketing, she has a BSc in biochemistry. For her professional associations, we have quite a number. She's a member of the West Africa Association of Customer Service Professional. She's a trained SME coach under Wacom and UNIDO. She's also an executive member of Customer Experience Professionals in Ghana, and also a member of the Women in Customer Experience UK. Amanda, welcome to today's
Hi, Jemima. Hello, Jemima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly, Amanda.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction. So I wouldn't waste much time or start. Let me share my screen so that we start.
Thank you.
Okay, so good evening once again to everybody. Jemima, can you hear me?
Amanda, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, sure. So good evening once again, everybody. Jemima has already done the introduction, and in short, Amanda Akushi, but most people call me Mandy, so you are free to call me Mandy. So today on our discussion, we have the topic being the role of customer experience in business growth. So before I start, I'll start with a story. So there's a company in South Africa known as Sorbet. So basically, Sorbet, it's a beauty therapy hub in South Africa with over 200 stores. So when we come here in Ghana, I mean, they are a beauty therapy hub that they are into manicure, pedicure, body massage, hair care. So basically, like, let me say, like a salon. And they have 200 shops in South Africa. And when it comes to Sorbet, they are so passionate about service. That is what they live for. Service is everything to them. So with Sorbet, because of how they've institutionalized customer experience and have personalized the whole experience and have the whole strategy as an institution or as a salon, a step was taken, and there's a case study on them known as the Soul of Sorbet. So that will be my story that will link us to customer experience. So let me give you a little brief about the Soul of Sorbet, which is a case study. So this is a real story with a shop in South Africa with 200 stores. So you can imagine. So with them, service is everything to them. And their mission is to provide 100% guest satisfaction, 7 days a week, whilst wearing a smile. That is their mission. I'm sure somebody's wondering, is that possible? Yes, they were able to achieve it. They've been using it, they've achieved it, that means it's possible. When you go to Sorbet, service is everything to them. And service is the spine of their business. So they believe that when you're passionate about something, you know it. And that, how do you know it? Because it draws you and it ignites something inside you that tickles your bones and excitement. So they are saying they are passionate about service, and service is everything to them. They breathe service, they live service. Why? Because they are there to improve the lives of others. So service is everything to Sorbet. So when you go to Sorbet, they see themselves not only as a team, because in most institution or organization, we see each other as a team member, but they say they see themselves as family. So when you go, everybody's a family. It's a culture that has been accepted in Sorbet. And they also say that Sorbet, the name Sorbet, is not just a brand, it's an attitude. So once you work for Sorbet, you should live the Sorbet way of life. Your attitude, if everybody should see it, should see that you are working for Sorbet. That's what they believe in. They also believe that it's their service that has kept them working up till date for them to have 200 branches. Because for us to say a salon or a beauty therapy hub that have 200, I'm yet to see one in Ghana that even would say has even more than 10 branches. I'm yet to see one, but they have 200 branches nationwide. And they also believe that they serve differently because they serve with their heart. Once you enter into Sorbet, they have the Sorbet way. If a client or if a customer should enter into any of their shop, service delivery should be same. You can't tell the difference that this is shop A located at, let me say, Achimota, and this is shop B located at Adenta. No. Once you enter, you realize that you've just entered Sorbet. They also believe that as part of their culture, they don't have customers. They rather have guests. I'm sure you'll be wondering why. So let's take a typical example here in our culture, Ghana. You realize that whenever we have a guest in our home, we treat them separately. Our mothers, when growing up, they will give the guests the plates that we don't even use at home. If we even drink sachet water at home, the guest will be given a bottled water. If we use plastic spoons to eat at home, the guest will be given like the normal metallic fork and spoon. So it's like we treat our guests differently. So they believe that they don't see anybody that enters into their shop as customers, but they rather see the people as guests. They go further to say, as part of their culture, they don't work to make money. Don't get them wrong. It doesn't mean they don't want money. They want money because they are in business as well. But they are saying they work to make friends, and they work to make best friends forever. Why? It's their friends that will recommend them to other people. It's the friends that will tell other family members about them. If they make the whole working culture about money, they forget to connect with their customers. So this is a brief about Sorbet and the culture that they live in. So then what am I saying all this? As Jemima started, she mentioned that in the past or for some time now, we've been hearing the word customer experience. And I'm sure people are saying, oh, customer experience and customer service, they are the same. Why are we worrying ourselves? And we are just changing words, or it's just the terminology. So today, if somebody should ask if customer experience is the same as customer service, no, they are not the same. So customer service is not customer experience. They are two different things. In simpler terms, I'll say customer experience is the mother, which is the bigger umbrella, and customer service is a subset of it. So definition for customer service I've given here is the timely and empathetic support and advice that we provide, that is provided by a company to both prospective and existing customers before and after they buy or use your product. So with customer service, it's mainly or often the interaction. It has to do with the interaction before, when somebody's buying, during the inquiry process, or somebody has bought and you have to deliver, or you have to deal with the person to make sure the product or services goes through. And then after maybe the person has an issue, or that the person is not able to use the product very well, so the person gets back to you. That is when you see customer service in action. But customer experience is the total perception that a customer has with your brand when they interact with your product or service for the duration of their relationship with you. So when somebody asks if customer experience has an end, no, it has an end the day the customer says, okay, today I'm not going to deal with you again. You are no longer my service provider. So customer experience starts from the day that you advertise on your billboard, on your social media page, your website. It is about how the customer feels. It's not about how you want the customer to feel. It's about how the customer feel whenever they come in contact with your brand, when they move to your website. How easy is it for them to browse? How easy is it for them to find their way through? How easy is it for them to find information on your website? If you have a live chat box, when they chat to you live, how easy is it for them to get through to you? Do they get response early, or is just automated and they have to sit on for 5-10 minutes before there's a response? All this forms part of the customer experience. So the customer experience, it looks at the entire journey of the customer from awareness. So we call something the customer journey, which is the day that the customer got to know about you, which is the awareness stage. So we have the awareness, the consideration, the decision, the purchase, and advocacy, which is the normal customer journey. So with going through the whole journey, the experience that the customer will have with you. So let's take, for instance, you walk into a restaurant. So you walk into a restaurant, you drive to the restaurant, you park your car. Whilst entering into the restaurant or the hotel, you are not able to even know, there's no directional sign. So you can't even tell whether the car park is on your left or is on your right. So you enter and then you have to figure it out where the car park is. So maybe you later find your way to the car park. That is the first experience to the customer. It's like, why should I be turning left and right to figure out where I have to park? The experience starts from there. The experience even may have started because you saw the company online, or somebody, a friend mentioned the restaurants to you. So you went there to go and check where they are located. So you get in and there's no directional sign as to where the reception is. So you would have to figure out where is the reception, or even have to ask the security man, if you are lucky, where the reception is. Maybe before you are alighted from your car, you just parked because there was a parking space. And with we ladies, you know how we sometimes drive with our slippers, and then once we've parked, we change into our shoe. So you change into your shoe whilst you finish parking, and the security man walks to you to say, "Madam, please park well." The frustration starts from that place. So you hear people saying, "You looked at me and I park, and after parking, you want me to park well." If you're lucky, the customer will park well. If you're not, the customer will not park. So that is part of the experience. So the customer now enters into the restaurant. As the person enters, nobody attends to him or her. The person will be standing wondering, where should I sit? It takes a while, a minute or two, somebody walks to her, she sits, orders her food, it takes another 20, 50, 30 minutes before the food is being brought in. She eats everything. I mean, the service is completed. The experience started from the day that somebody told the customer about you or saw the person saw the brand on the website. But funny enough, after a customer finished eating, all we are interested in is the food nice, or are you happy with the food? The customer may say happy, but the customer may be happy. She may be happy or he may be happy just with the food. But with the entire journey that the customer went through, you can't be rest assured that the customer is happy because there was some hiccups here and there. So that forms the total customer journey. So the customer leaves. So then I'm sure we'll be wondering, does that mean customer service is important than customer experience, or customer experience is important than customer service? They are all the same. You cannot provide experience without service because you need the human factor as well. So great customer service and a memorable customer experience are intertwined. You can't do one without the other. If you try to say, look, let me take service out of the whole experience, you are going to break the brand or you're going to break your company. So you can't have one and leave the other. You have to put both together. So customer service, you can't say you're leaving it out of the customer experience or the total experience. It should be part of it because customer service can make or break the perception that a customer has about you. So that is what the difference between customer service and customer experience. So customer experience basically is the broader umbrella, and then customer service is under it. We have employee experience, we have a design experience, we have user experience, we have a lot of things that goes on the customer experience. So how are you going to be able to achieve excellent customer experience or drive experience? So for you to be able to drive experience is made up of what I call the three-legged stool. So the three-legged stool here means the people, the process, and the technology. That's what makes up the experience. Often we pay attention or we pay partial attention just to the people part. So the people is maybe where most of the customer service falls under. So the people has to do with recruiting rightly, recruiting for the right skills, making sure your employees are happy, treating your employees right, building your employees' capacity, training them, providing them with the necessary things that they need to be able to work. So that's what makes up the people part, where you find the whole customer service, making sure they have the right attitude, making sure they serve the customer well, making sure they have the right skill even for the job. So that is the people. That forms just one part of the three-legged stool. Then we have the process. The process has to do with all your processes that comes together for you to be able to provide the service that you're supposed to provide to your customers. So your processes need to be seamless. It needs to be consistent. So back to our story, when you go to Summit, all their processes are the same. So it's difficult for you to enter one shop in one location and go to the other and think there's a differentiation in them. I mean, like, it's the same. It's just like tasting Coca-Cola and then you see like, the taste of Coca-Cola is the same, or if it's Coca-Cola Zero, it's the same. The processes should be the same. It shouldn't be outdated. And with customer experience, you don't do it once and you stop. You always have to update it because your customers may be changing, the taste of your customers may be changing, your customer personas may be changing because they'll be open to new lifestyles as well. The third leg is the technology. The technology helps you to drive the experience. And the technology can be in any form. It can be an app that you are using. It can be a POS that you are using because you know what you need from it. It can be something as simple as the Google Drive that you are using to drive the experience. So you cannot, for you to be able to drive experience and achieve total customer experience in order to grow your business, you cannot just focus on the people part and leave the technology or the process part. That is why sometimes you feel we train our employees, yet so we sometimes hear things like, we've trained them and we are still getting the same complaints from customers. It is good to train employees. I'm 100% for it. But when you train employees and there are no systems or there are no processes or the right technology to drive the experience, it come back to cost zero. It's like not training them at all is good. Like training your employees or training your staff on complaints management. So the trainer takes them through the whole complaints management system, trains them very well. Now, in real life, there's no complete complaints management process. So now when your employee is faced with a complaint, they don't even know what the process is like. Who should I report to first? What is the SLA, the service level agreement? When I report, how long should it take before I escalate? How long does it take for me to get back to the customer? There's nothing like that. So definitely the customer wouldn't know what to do. The customer would just say, the employee wouldn't know what to do, though he or she has been trained. But the processes are not the employee. So let me give you an instance. A friend wanted to order salad online for somebody, and she was given some 3 brands she could purchase from. So she goes online, which is she goes to IG, Instagram. She gets in contact with the first brand and sends a message. Nobody responds. I'm sure maybe they are yet to respond up till date, like that's months ago. So that is the first red flag. So you have your awareness stage, which is the Instagram, the social media, and you say you've also put everything up there. People can DM you to order. They DM you and it takes forever for you to even respond. So there was no response. So she moves on to the second brand. And then she moves to their IG page and she realized that, okay, they have in their bio that if you want to order for salad, visit the website. So first of all, it's either you visit the website or you send a DM. So she sends a DM, nobody responds. She calls and nobody also picked. So she went to the website. So she went to the website and realized that, yeah, they have a fancy website, but it doesn't make provision for you to order online. So the next question is, why do you put it in your bio? Is it just for showcase? Is it so that people know you have a website and there's no transaction can be done on the website? So now she has to move back into the DM, sends a message. Somebody responds to her and say, call the line again. We'll alert them. Why do you ask people to DM you to purchase? And when somebody comes into your DM, you ask that he should call the line again. The processes are not seamless. It's like they are independent of each other. So the customer definitely becomes frustrated even to order the salad. The customer went ahead, now calls, somebody picks up and narrates everything she wants, describes, and asks, what do you have? Then the employee went ahead to let her understand, oh, we have salad, we have chicken salad. And she says, is that the only thing you have? We said, oh, salad, we have a lot of salad. So she was even, it's like mentioning or giving there was no menu. First of all, there was no menu on the Instagram for me to even see what you have on the website. So that means I have to ask you what you have so that you suggest. But the employee felt so frustrated to share all those details. Why should I mention this whole menu for you before you order? He went ahead, mentioned the menu. The person places the order and says, I want it. Then she asks, do you want it? She wants it delivered. And she asks where the location is. She mentions her location and she says, oh, today we are not delivering to that location because we don't have enough riders. The customer immediately will be upset. You know you don't have enough riders. So the moment you pick your call, what is the right thing for you to do? Do you keep the customer online, take the orders and everything, and whilst the customer's hope has been raised high, that, okay, I'm going to have my order, you end by saying, we can't deliver because of the space or because of the distance, because you don't have dispatch riders available. Then she asked, so what do you do? So I was like, oh, then that means they can't order. There's no chance to even provide an alternative. And then the customer asks, can't you even place the order and even send by Uber? The guy said, it's not it's not his responsibility to deliver by Uber, and that's why when he's working, he doesn't even go online. And I'm wondering, okay, so at this part, you realize that the people leg of the customer experience is broken because this employee handling the phone, it's like a no in terms of handling customers. It's like, it's a big no. His response, his attitude is a way no. So he went ahead to say, okay, we have another branch, which is around where you are saying, where you stay. But just that with them too, when you order, they don't deliver. So the next thing is, so what is the connection between these two brands? It's the same people, different location. One does this, the other do not do this, and they don't provide any alternative. So you realize that, yes, it's not enough to just pick a phone call and say, hi, good morning, this is company A, how may I help you? It's nice, it is good, it's the right thing to do. But when all your 3 legs of experience are not positioned well, you are not able to drive the right experience. So we end up saying, but I've been smiling and I'm nice, and what again should I do? Customer experience is not about, it's not just about smiling and being nice. It goes beyond smiling and being nice. So if you have that mindset that, oh, customer experiences or customer service is even easy, it's just about smiling, we get it wrong. That's how come we are not able to provide the right experience that we need for our customers. So to be able to achieve total experience to grow your business, you need the people leg, you need the process leg, and you need the technology leg. You can't do one without the other. If you leave, it's like having a 3-legged stool as you have in the picture here, and one is broken. You can't sit on it. It will be very difficult, even if you think you can sit on it. It can't support you. So that's what happens in the experience. When one of the leg is broken, then we find out that the whole experience is shaky. So you are not able to provide the right experience to your customers. Okay. So let's take the legs one after the other and see how Sorbet used it or practicalized it, Sorbet as a company. So when you go to Sorbet, when we take the people leg of the stool, they have training, they have a training program they call the Sorbet Way. That's how they term their training. The theme is the Sorbet Way, and it's for every employee. Once you are being recruited as an employee or as a staff of Sorbet, before you step foot into the salon, you go through the training. Unlike what most institutions do, SMEs or bigger institutions, most of in SME say, oh, we want the person to work a little and see how the person works and his understanding or understanding. And if the person is even like, well, that's when the person gets trained. And that is when the person gets used to the old way of working, because he or she doesn't know what the right culture is when the person is in the company. But we saw that before you step foot into the salon, the day they give you your letter, everything, and you're supposed to work, you go through their training program before you start working. That is their rule. And also with them, they train regularly throughout the year, both the professional training and the soft skills training. So their training is not just limited to the soft skills or the customer service trainings or their culture or whatever they have to do types of training. It has to do with the profession that they are in, because they are into a therapy hub, beauty therapy hub, the whole manicure, pedicure. I mean, so it's like the whole year they've divided their employees into batches or into groups. So it's like, you know that first quarter, this group has a training. So before the year will end, each person at least has been trained twice. So because we are human, we come in contact with different customers. So you need to be refreshed on what the Sorbet way is. So they do not play with their training at all. Also at Sorbet, when they started, before they decided that, look, let's look at experience instead of just service, they had employee turnover of 40%, which was very high. But after they decided to audit their system, put processes in place, put their SLAs, their SOPs in place, they were able to reduce employee turnover from 40 to 5 to 10%, which is very huge. That is what they did for their people. We saw that because they see their employees as family, they share sales figures with them and award hard work as well, because they want the employees to feel part of the company. So at Sorbet, they did not let you feel you are not part of me. Yes, there are hierarchies, there are supervisors, everything, but they work one as family. They share the sales figures with them, so you know where we are, where we want to get to in terms of sales. So when we are doing well, you know we are doing well. When you are not doing well and there's no award system, you won't say, oh, the company is doing well and they still do not want me to have it. They are so transparent with them. So they even share the sales figures with them. That is how Sorbet decided to handle their people part, or the people leg of the experience. When it comes to the process leg, this is what Sorbet did. When they decided to now move into the whole experience, instead of just looking at service, which is the people's leg, they had to audit their entire process that the customer goes through, the entire customer journey, from awareness to the loyalty stage of the customer journey, and look out for the gaps that are in there, and do their best to put the right processes at each of the customer journey stages. That is what they do. They later went ahead to put in place a standard operating procedure, which is an SOP for customer complaints. So they believe that they are in there to provide 100% satisfaction. And they have this signage in all their branches, 200 branches, everywhere you go. They see complaints as a divine gift. Most often, unfortunately, we here in Ghana, let me say Ghana because we are here, or if somebody is online that is not in Ghana, but most often businesses or business owners, we do not want to hear complaints at all because we feel complaints will tarnish our brand image, but no. So we see complaints as gifts. It rather helps us to audit our system and see where we went wrong, and we'll be able to do it better. Sometimes they may not even be complaints. How often do we even take feedback from our customers? We do not want to take feedback because we are afraid we would hear something bad about the brand. It helps you as a company when you take feedback, because when you take feedback and it's positive, that means it gives you the advantage to do what you are doing and do it better. But if it's negative, it gives you the opportunity to audit your system, to be able to know, or audit your processes, to be able to know where the gap is and correct it. So with them as Sorbets, they have this belief that they are there to provide 100% satisfaction. And they have a signage in all 200 branches that says that if you are not totally satisfied with the treatment, you talk to them, or with the service that they provide to you, you talk to them and tell them why. If they can't turn your frown back into a smile, then you won't pay. The treatment is on them. I'm sure we'll say if you bring it here in Ghana, it's like you're going to make a loss. That is their brand promise. That is their guarantee promise. But as an individual, as a customer, as a service provider, as a vendor, as a business owner, you don't necessarily have to pick the same. But what is your guarantee promise? What do you have that you can boast of? They are able to boast of it because they know the processes they've put in place. So they know that no matter what, though that is their brand promise, they can deliver because they wouldn't have any of their employee going contrary to it. And even if they have it, they have other things in place that would help them to be able to recover. They, as part of their process, they have what they call the win-back strategy. So that when something goes wrong, this is what they believe. You apologize, you fix, and you sweeten it. That means you apologize, you fix. What is the service recovery procedure that you have in your company? You can't say nothing will go wrong. Even a company as big as what Coca-Cola still have issues or have complaints with customers. So there's nothing like no complaint. The complaints will come, but when it comes, what do you do? It's about how you handle the complaints that will let the customer come back to you. So that was one of the things they put in place as part of their process leg. When it comes to their refund policy, they had a no hassle refund policy. If the process is there, once they go through it, they've audited, they've realized that, look, they need to refund your money to you. They are not going to say, oh, go back and come back 1 week, 2 weeks. No, they refund your money to you there and then. They do not want to hassle you because they believe that whilst they do that, they get you to come back to them. They get you to suggest them to your other friends or family as well. So that is what they did with their process leg. With their technology, that is the leg, what they did is they put a system in place that will track every customer complaint. No complaint comes in that they are not aware of because of the technology that they put in place. They make customers feel comfortable to come to them and complain if they are not happy, and they investigate to see what the issue is. And once they put that technology in place that takes feedback, so they have the service recovery technology that's called the win-back strategy, and figure out how to win the customer back. They also often would advise customers to make payments through their POS. That's that technology that they were using to drive experience. They use that because it allows them to monitor new customers and loyal ones. So they're able to track people that use, once you use their POS, that's how they're able to track the number of times you visited their shop or their store. So that is how they were using the technology part of the leg to drive experience. So with Sorbets, this is what they believe in. They believe that understanding the value of a guest and the potential loss that will result should that guest take their business somewhere else. So they feel that, look, when I say guests, maybe for the people who joined late, Sorbets, they see their customers as guests. So they will say for a guest to come into their shop, they have to do everything possible not to lose that guest. Because whenever they lose that guest, that means the guest is going to take his or her business somewhere else. That means it's going to affect their revenue. The guest may not only take his or her business, the guest may tell a friend, may tell a parent, may tell a sibling, may tell a husband, a wife, somebody. And they will also tell other people, do you know, oh, when person A went to this place, she or she wasn't treated well. And that is how it spreads. Maybe immediately you think you have the customers, so I mean, like, I'm okay. But if you should sit and take data of customers that you have every year and see the retention of customers you have at the end of the year for consistently like 3 years, you realize that it's either you are not growing, you are stuck at where you are, or your customers are reducing. Because we do not take data, we are not able to track some of these things. So we take experience for granted and would say, oh, even if you don't buy, somebody will buy. That is a perception. But if you should take records, you realize that you could have done better than where you are now. They also believe that business is based on a long term and not a short term. It's not just about the immediate time. It's about how to keep this customer. The customer lifetime, the retention of this customer is so important to them than everything. So whenever something happens, they ask themselves, what has happened? How will it impact our business 5 down the line? If we should think that way, we'll try our possible best to make things right whenever a customer is not satisfied, a customer is not happy, or whenever a customer comes in contact with our brand. They believe that their objective was to achieve guest loyalty over and above guest satisfaction. They are happy to make sure they meet your expectation for you to be happy. That is it. But they just don't want the satisfaction. They want you to be a loyal customer. They want you to be, whenever you wake up and you have to go to any beauty therapy hub, what should be in your Evoke set should be Sorbet. That is their aim. So they do not want just to satisfy you. They just don't want to make you happy just that moment. But they want to give you that experience that will make you not to forget them, but will make you to come back to them anytime that you have to do business with. What's the essence of all that I'm saying? Would wonder, what has customer experience? Is it going to add anything to our business? Yes, it's going to add everything to our business. It builds a positive brand image for your business when you provide the right customer service or experience to your customers. It increases referral. Once a customer is happy with how you treat them, we are human. Automatically, it's not like the customer goes to sit to say, hey, if you need this service, go to company A. No, that is where word of mouth comes through. It may be a general conversation. Your company name will come up. What do you know what customers say about you in the room that you are not there? It depends on the experience of the service that you provide for them. So you give and provide them that experience. Customers will not feel obliged to mention you to another person. So it increases referral. It also increases the customer lifetime value. So if you have a customer today, ask yourself, if you're treating the customer so well and you are into business that's a repetition type of business, if the customer comes to you throughout the year, do you know the amount of money you're going to make from even such person, only that individual? And calculate it to see that if you keep this customer with you for how many years, do you know the amount of money you are going to make that is going to increase your revenue and increase your profits as a company? It also provides you insights on product innovation, and gets innovation very easy. So you are able to understand what your customers want because of the complaints that will give to you. You're able to understand if your product is working well. You're able to know even why customers are not purchasing this kind of product or purchasing this kind of app because of the feedback that they'll give you. So these things even helps you to innovate and even helps you to know the right product that you're supposed to sell to your customers. It also improves cost efficiency and reduce recurring problems. We sometimes don't see it as costs whenever we have to deal with the same complaint over and over. It's waste of money, it's waste of time, waste of personnel. So when you have a complaint or an issue happens, if you don't provide the right experience, those same complaints keep happening. you are spending the same amount of time, and time is money, time is of value, is affecting your company, is affecting your business, is affecting your employees. Your employees will not be happy to work for you. And once employees are not happy to work, they are not able to make your customers happy as well. It's only experience that would be able to give you this opportunity to be able to make your customers happy by making your employees happy for them to make your customers happy. It increases sales. I mean, once you are happy, once employee is happy, provides the right service to a customer, the customer refers you to other people, the customer comes back to do business with you, it increases sales. It also helps the research and develop team, if you have one, to identify what customers' expectations are or what their wants are. So they are able to research further. It makes their work even easier because they have customers who may complain, or they have loyal customers who may tell them when things go wrong to be able to fix it. So they'll be able to research and develop other products. It prevents damage of brand. In this digital age that we are in, it's like the least thing you do, your name is being dragged on social media. Everybody, it's like your name is out there. Providing the right experience by looking at the three-legged tool and not looking at just the people part as most of us do will help us to prevent or the damage of our brand and build our brand for us. So to conclude with, if you would want to earn your customers' trust, if you want to inspire them to keep coming back to do business with you, and if you really want to increase your profits and your business growth as a company, then it's about time you integrate the three-legged tool of customer experience into your business, which is the people, the process, and the technology. Don't just look at the people part and leave the three processes. Even if the people part, you're not doing it well, you're not training your employees, you're not making them know what the culture is. Training is key. You go to some institution and you'll be surprised. People have been there for 5 years, 10 years, and they've never been trained before because you don't see the essence of training. One person said, if you think training is expensive, try not training. When you do not train, rather, they cost you more. So invest into training as well as you're investing into the process leg of the experience and the technology leg of your experience. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Amanda. I must say you've really taken us through a real experience this evening.
Thank you, Jemima.
Okay, so it's time for questions. You can drop your questions in the chat, or you could raise your hands if you want to speak directly. Already we have some questions that had come in. So whilst for people to raise their hand or put their questions in the chat, we'll start with that.
Okay.
Amanda, this question came out to this presentation.
Okay.
The first one is, whose responsibility is it when it comes to customer experience? Is it the owner? Is it the MD? Or it is all employees?
So when it comes to customer experience, we say customer experience is not departmental. Don't think, often when we even say customer service, we think it's the duty of the front desk person, or is the duty of the employee that front interface with the customer. No, that is a mindset we have. But this evening, I would say let's shift from that mindset. When it comes to customer experience, it's the responsibility of everybody. So let me give you an example. When it comes to customer experience, it's a responsibility from the least person down there. Everybody is important in every company. So pardon me, don't think nobody's important. But from the least person, when I say least person, maybe from the cleaner or from the security man to the CEO, everybody has a part to play. So let's take it, for instance, you have an employee in the bank, and the person is supposed to provide a service for a customer. The customer comes in, and the front desk person she meets is not able to provide the service because the system is down, the internet is down, the app is down. It's not the responsibility of the front desk person to get the app running. It means that it's the responsibility of maybe the IT team or the system team. So this front desk person has to liaise with the system person or the IT person. So the IT person sees that, look, I have a part to play when it comes to customer experience. That is when they don't care, because they think they are not interfacing with the client, so they don't care. So they take their time like 100 years before they respond to you, or they think you are disturbing them. maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they also have put in some measures to mitigate some of these things, and the money has to come from the finance director. Finance director also thinks that, look, this thing is a cost center. It's not a revenue center. You're not going to bring me money, so you take your time. So at the end of the day, you see the lineage. Then the finance director, maybe it's handicapped because the CEO says, this year strategy is not to buy this thing to be able to implement. So I will also not give. That is why we say when it comes to customer experience, it's the responsibility of everybody. So now the customer is suffering, but then it's not the fault of the front desk person. It's not the fault of the IT guy. It's not only the fault of the finance director. It's also not only the fault of the CEO. So it's like there's a long chain of people that come in contact with. So when it comes to customer experience, it's everybody's responsibility in an organization.
Very clear, yeah. Amanda. So the next question is, mostly when we hear of customer experience, we normally think about service providers or companies providing services. How about those of us who are into products, sell physical products? How applicable can we use customer experience?
Okay, so when it comes to selling digital products, for instance, let's take an example. Can you give an example of any digital product so that I can give the very best?
For instance, I have a client who sells fruit juice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So fruit juice is still a product. So you have a client that sells fruit juice. First of all, in every organization, your customer goes through the customer journey. Every organization has a customer journey. So let's say with the fruit juice, the customer will hear of you from somebody. Is it that is a referral? Or is it that the person will see you on IG? Or is it that the person would browse on the internet and your name may pop up? At these places, how easy or what experience are you providing from your customer? On the website, is there a number there for the customer to call if you claim you have a website? Is there a variety, or do you have your menu on the website for the person to choose? If it is IG, is it the same? Do you have your number there for the person to call? Can the person send you messages on the DM and still get a response? Or you often put in your IG to say, I often see this DM for price. I know most people do it. Most small businesses do it in their DM for price. The reason being because they think people will see their price and then they will replicate it or they'll copy. Look, price war started not today, and price war will not end today. When you are so insecure to put your price out there, then that means you don't know the value of the product you are producing. Because I can still do a competitor price and then call you as a customer and I'll know your price. So you can't hide your price. It's rather frustrating when you don't put your price out there. It's part of the experience. Do you know the number of people who jump onto your IG page and want to purchase your product, but because there's no price, they don't purchase? It's a lot. Because these people do not call you, so you think you do not lose customers because at least people are still calling to ask for the price to buy. So that is where the experience is going to start from a food seller. So maybe that is the awareness stage. At the awareness stage, what happens? Maybe after awareness, we have maybe consideration. Now the person wants to buy the fruit juice. The person calls you. Or the person sends you a message. How long does it take for you to respond back to the person? Do you have fruit juice available? Or anytime they call, you have pineapple and ginger on your IG, but anytime they call, pineapple and ginger is out of stock. So you take that step as well. You move from your consideration journey, you move to the decision journey. What happens at the decision journey? When the person wants to pay, how easy is it for the person to pay? Does the person have to wait and it takes centuries before you even send your Momo number for the person to pay? When it comes to the delivery, one thing I want to say is we sometimes feel delivery is not part of our process. So especially when we subcontract to delivery companies, we think as business owners, once we sell, we've taken our money and the product is with the delivery company or dispatch rider, we don't care. No, your work is not finished. So your customer has received the product and is happy about it. Your experience is not done. Because a delivery company, have it in mind, can make or make your brand. Because as far as the customer is concerned, he's still dealing with you and the product is with the delivery company. It's sad that sometimes you call when you don't have your package received and say, oh, call the delivery guy. She doesn't work for us. we should shift from that mindset. We don't have the delivery guy doesn't work for us. At the end of the day, customers will not return to do business with you because of the delivery guy you are using. So even if the delivery guy is not working for you and you have to go for a delivery company, please, it's part of the experience. So have in mind, whoever you are going for will make your brand. When the customer receives the fruit juice and the good taste is not a good taste, the customer calls you back. What do? Do you have a recovery process in place that in case this happens, we do A or B or C? So when it comes to experience for a typical juice seller, as you said right now, you have to sit to write the whole journey that your customer goes through. You have to audit the system. Sometimes when we think customer experience is for bigger organizations, no. Even smaller organizations need it more because our processes are not cumbersome like the bigger organizations where one organization will have to draw about like 15 customer journeys because they have different products. You have just one product, so it's easier for you to draw your customer journey, audit it and see. So when it comes to a typical person who is selling the fruit juice, that is what the person would have to go through. So you audit, you wouldn't know where the gap is to provide the right service for the people.
Thanks, Amanda. Before we go to the audience, there's another question here. In your presentation, you mentioned that customer service is a subset of customer experience. And for the audience, it looks like locally or in our setting nowadays, we are virtually getting the customer service even wrong. How can we then ensure that we are going to get this customer experience happening? Or is it applicable? Should every business aim for that, or we should just allow, okay, customer experience is my priority, I want to do it. For those who are not interested, they continue with what they are doing.
There's nothing like customer experience is not my priority. So let me put it this way. As the person said, the person is very right. Even the service, we are getting it wrong. How much more the experience? So then we still need to get the service right. But it doesn't mean whilst you're focusing on getting the service right, you don't pay attention to your processes and technology because it will frustrate you. If the person was there, or if you remember when I narrated the issue of somebody buying salad, just a common salad, see what the person had to go through. So that at the end of the day, this lady didn't buy the salad. How did I get to know of it? We had a WhatsApp group page and she came to pour her frustration on the WhatsApp group and everybody was interested. Which brand is that? She put the brand there. So do you know the number of people on the WhatsApp group, over 100 people? That should tell you that anytime this 100 people should come in contact with this salad brand, they won't buy. But the salad brand is not in the group and doesn't know where his name has been mentioned. One, because the people part, which is the customer service part, went wrong. And two, because their process, even before they got to the customer service person to pick the phone, was frustrating. So it's because sometimes we do not think or we do not know that these things forms part of experience. So it doesn't make us to look at it well. But there's nothing like, I'm not interested in experience, I have to just do service. You can't just attend to the people part and leave the process and the technology. It's not done. You'll not be able to give that experience or that feeling that you want your customers to have. The service part is not done well because of the people part. It's because most of our companies, most of business owners are not training their employees. They assume that they should know. And it's because they think customer service is in Twi, we say efie nyansa. Let me say like literal translation, like it's a knowledge you get from home. No, it's not. I think we should move from that mindset. Customer service is not efie nyansa. So don't say that, oh, customer service there, you just smile and then that is why we are getting it wrong. So we shift from that mindset to see that customer service is not only about getting a beautiful girl to sit at your reception and pick your phone and say, hi, hello, how are you? You will still get even the service or the people's part wrong. So you train them and let them know the right thing to be done. So it's sad that sometimes when businesses want customer service reps or they want people to take in charge of their customer service or their front desk, you hear them saying, I'm not saying nobody is important, but I hear them say, oh, get some GSS leaver to come and sit there. After all, what would the person do just to pick calls? This person comes and the person is not trained because they expect that the person should know, which is wrong. At the end of the day, do you know that the authority that our people who sits behind our phone have for a company? They are the face of the company, though we are not seeing them. So how the person interacts with anybody who picks or calls the company is important. But we think these people are not important. So just get anybody to come and sit there. And then after all, the person will be able to know how to pick a call. And when we get maybe feedback from customers that who is attending to your phone calls, the person doesn't know how to talk. It's sad that you get supervisors or business owners or entrepreneurs rather angry at these people who are handling their phone calls or who are handling their WhatsApp pages or their social media pages because they feel it is a fear nyansa. It is not a fear nyansa. If you've not trained the person for the person to be able to know what he or she is supposed to do, don't expect much from the person. So there's nothing like, I'm not ready for experience. Service, it is good because that's a human factor. But even a human factor, we are not getting it right because we fail to train the people for them to know the right thing to do.
Thanks, Amanda. So I'll go to the last question that I had received. And
Okay.
the person's question on how you can apply customer experience to your personal branding. Because we've spoken about how customer experience affects business, is it possible for us to also look at how customer experience can affect your personal branding? Because like you said, if you're into consultancy, sometimes your personal brand also drives what happens to your business as well. Can we merge the two? Can we apply customer experience? Because sometimes you meet someone for the first time and just that, it could be just 5 minutes, but the experience you live with will always even help you refer the person.
Yeah. So even in our personal branding, there's this word that whether you are providing service or experience, you can't do away with this, which is empathy, not sympathy. Empathy means putting yourself in the person's shoe and asking yourself, if you were in the other person's shoe, how would you have acted? Let it be part of you as a consultant or as a personal, like as part of your personal brand. So whenever you meet people, you would want to treat them the way you would love to be treated, or the way you would have treated your mother, because you give reverence to your mother or your father or your husband or your wife. I mean, anyone. So whenever you have empathy, is one of the skills you can do away with. Whenever you have empathy with you, your personal brand is also a brand. So it's also important to you how people perceive you, how people see you, and how people definitely, though you have that personality, your personality will come first before they would be able to they would work with you. So when it comes to the personality as well, the way you dress, it's so important because it speaks volume about you, whether you like it or not. So the way you dress, how knowledgeable you are, even in the industry that you are, when the person sees you and is interacting with you, there should be something that will move the person to say, I want to work with you, for the person to even start experiencing the working part of you. But you as a person, what are you in to deliver? What are you in to give when the person meets you for the first time? So as a person, yours may not be the awareness, the consideration, the decision stage of a customer journey, because you're applying it to you as a person. But as a person, you have a business. You want people to come to you and deal with you so that you introduce their business to you. What are you selling, or what personality are you selling out there? It's important. That is what will draw people to you first before they even say, let me do business with you. So yes, with our brand, as a person, like as a personal brand, it's because you want people to be attracted to you because you would have something in exchange to give, which is the next thing, with maybe your work or whatever. How you position yourself, the way you dress, the way you speak. There are some ways we speak, even in our responses, that I'm sure some people will scratch their head and be wondering, is because we still feel it's a fear nyansa. No, it's not a fear nyansa. Because you'd see people, let me maybe take it back to maybe when I'm doing something and the person says, you want to order for an item and it's out of stock. All you hear is, it's out of stock. And so what? So should I take my money somewhere? And they'll say nicely and smile and say thank you, because they've been made to believe that it's a fear nyansa. So once you smile and say we don't have it, the person should be okay. There's no alternative. So you as a person, when somebody meets you, and even whatever you are being at, how do you speak? How do you respond to it? How your responses like? It all forms part of it, because you're going to use your personality as well to draw people to you for them to do business with you. So with your personal branding, it may not be it may not be the awareness, the consideration like a customer journey. But one thing I'll say, do not take it out of you, is the empathy part of it. It should be with you. So when people see you, also should see it from the way you dress. I'm not saying dress like, but I mean, it speaks volume about you. How we dress speaks volume about us, and it's as part of customer service. That's how come when you go to some institutions, they have a way they dress. You can't dress contrary to that, so that when people see you, they know that okay, I'm this person, I'm attracted to this person to even talk to the person to provide a service for me. So that personal brand, as I said, it may not be the awareness consideration as the customer journey, but it may be how you speak to somebody. How empathetic are you? How concerned are you about the person's issue? Or when it comes to your listening skills, your communication skills, your eye contact when speaking to the person, all these are parts of, when you're providing service, which I always say when you're training people, it's not just for the working environment, it's for your personal life as well. So you're able to carry it along and not just when you're working. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. So we'll move to the questions. We have one question in the chat.
Okay.
Amanda, he wants to know that in a business structure, where do you start with implementing all the strategies and tips you have mentioned?
When do you start doing what? Come again.
When do you start implementing all these strategies? I think he wants to know whether right at the beginning of the business or as it progresses, but he refers to in a business structure.
Yeah. So in a business structure, when you're starting a business, the way we have business strategy, the way we have marketing strategy, we start with these things at the beginning of the business. So we have what we call customer experience strategy as well. So you start with it at the beginning of the business. It's maybe you are not wrong if you didn't start with it. There's nothing like going back to put together your customer experience strategy or auditing your system. It even works also better because sometimes you get more feedback because now you have customers. But I'll say just like we have business strategy that we put in place before we put our business out there, and we have marketing strategy that we put in place at the beginning of our business, we have what we call customer experience strategy at the beginning, and we should make it as part of the business strategy so that we move with it and work with it, and it becomes part of the culture and part of us. That is where we'll see all the people, the training parts, the employee experience, how you should even recruit. So you'll realize that when you go to a typical place that there's a customer experience. So some companies call them client experience heads or customer experience heads. So you realize that currently, especially in banks, most people have stopped using the word contact center. So you hear experience hub, you hear experience department. Something, because it's like they have to now augment all these things into them. So I'll say you should start it at the beginning of the business as well. Let it be part of your business strategy. Draw a customer experience strategy, how you want to provide experience for your customers. Thank you.
Amanda, a little clarity. I think Neil wants to know where do you start with the implementation?
You'll be able to start with the implementation when you've drawn the strategy. So let me say, when I draw the strategy for you, that's the job I do, and then I do together with the company. Once you draw the strategy, maybe we have something we call customer principle, or we have something we call how do you want your customers to feel. So it's in stages. I don't know how to, but it's in stages. So when you draw, it makes you know that, okay, so now if I want to implement, if I want to recruit, I should do it this way. So from my recruiting process, when I'm recruiting somebody, the person, or I should liaise with HR. And so it's not only the customer experience person that does this. No, the customer experience person co-creates or does it together with other departmental, if it's in department. So you realize that when it comes to employee part, the customer experience head or department will work with the HR. And then from the strategy that you've drawn, what needs to be done? If it has an IT part in it, the customer experience person will work with the IT department to be able to put it into practice. If there's an operations aspect in the strategy, the customer experience person will work with the operations department or the retail department to put it into use. If there's part of the strategy after you've drawn and you need to do something and it has to do with marketing, the person will liaise with the marketing department to do it. So it's like the customer experience has its leg in every department, because there's that feeling or that experience that you want to leave your customers with when they interact with you. So you first have to draw your strategy. When you draw your strategy, you know where to start with, because you see the individual or independent departments or people that are involved, and you align with them to be able to co-create that service or that experience for your customers. I don't know if Nia have answered you.
Yeah, Amanda, thanks. It looks like today you've really taken us through a whole customer experience that we don't even want to leave this call. Unfortunately, it's past 7, it's 7:11. Amanda, I would like to say thank you very much, most especially for honoring the invitation for you to have this call with us. Very precise and concise, and it was an experience on its own. So I think from our audience, Amanda is always available. These are her contact details as well. So in case you have any questions, in case you have any customer experience, or you need to do your strategy, she's always available. She's just a phone call. Amanda, we want to experience your service as well.
Oh yeah, I'm open with my service. I mean, I always say that I'm here for SMEs, especially because we feel SMEs are not part of it. And we always focus on the corporate institutions. So we leave them behind and think they are not needed. It's not that they are really needed. They just need to understand how it's affecting their business and what they can do and do it better. So I'm not just for corporate institutions. I really even do a lot with SMEs even than corporate institutions, because that is where I want to help. So when it comes to employee training, whether you just have one person, you're an entrepreneur, you have a small business for yourself, and you have just one employee you need to train. So from customer service training, from putting together strategies, from auditing your systems for you, implementing. If you want me to help you to implement after we've drawn the strategy and monitor, I do from beginning to the end. So my doors are always open. Feel free to give me a call, follow me on Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram and LinkedIn than Facebook. I mean, unfortunately, but I'm active on Facebook as well. But it's easier for you to get me even on social media. It's easier for you to get me on LinkedIn and Instagram than Facebook. But I'm on Facebook. And then these are my contact details. You can call me on this number and you can send me an email. The company name is Nile Consult. It's a Ghana word which means knowledge. So we are into customer experience and digital marketing. So my doors are open. Feel free, hit me with any of your customer experience issues, and I'm ready to help you with it.
Thanks, Amanda. Should we take that as your closing remarks? Or
yes, please. I've enjoyed my stay, and I hope that this evening we've received some mindset shifts about when it comes to service as a whole, and then when it comes to experience as well. That for us to be able to achieve total, even service or experience, we can't do away with the three-legged tool of experience. We can't just do the people and leave the rest, else you frustrate your team. So you have to do all three. You have to look at all three: your people, your process, and your technology. And even your people, if you're not training them, it's costing you money. So have a look at it. And just hit me and let me come and train your people for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. So whilst we get our cameras on for our usual group picture, that's one message. So Amanda, this is from Oba. Awesome.
Okay.
And thank you, Amanda. So if we don't mind, we can put on our cameras. I thought mine was on already, so that we can take our group picture as usual. Angie, will you help us with that?
Grandma is cut. Okay, thank you. So just a second, let me get my camera myself on.
Okay. Oh, Charlie. I also have a visitor here.
Okay. So just please keep smiling for a few seconds whilst I take a number of. Okay, hello, Selassie. We can see. Oh, someone also wants to take a picture here. Okay. Okay. So let's get ready to take.
Then it's like a family picture.
Yes. Okay, so please keep smiling. You have a few. Okay, I'm moving to the next page. Keep smiling, just a few seconds, and we'll be done. Screenshot. Okay, one more. So freestyle. Freestyle. You can just do any freestyle. So on three. So 1, 2, 3.
Go.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay. Thanks
Thank you
everyone for coming.
Please watch out. The YouTube video will be available
Thank
on
you.
that YouTube page. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and like our videos. And let's watch out for an interesting topic coming up this month. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Amanda, and thanks everyone for coming. Bye, everyone.